Welcome back, everybody. This is Alex, and welcome to the video where I talk about the scholarships for transfer students. Now, before I get on the scholarship money business, I'll do a little recap of the video I did last time. If you haven't seen it, I advise you to go look at it. I'll be putting a link in the description below. The video I did last time was the advantages and disadvantages for being a transfer student. If you are a transfer student or you are looking to be a transfer student, I would advise you go look at that because that has a lot of information in there, a lot of good, useful information in there. If you need more explanation, feel free to email me. Feel free to just comment on there. I will get to you like almost immediately. Almost immediately. So, without further ado, let's get to this scholarship money business. So, scholarships. The scholarships I'm going to be focusing on are the transfer scholarships. Now, you might be asking, what is a transfer scholarship? A transfer scholarship, pretty much whenever you graduate from a 2-year institution into a 4-year university, you have to find some way to pay for school because the 2-year university isn't going to pay for school. It's not going to pay your tuition, although there are some transfer scholarships that do offer free tuition, but I'll get into that later. I'll have to give like 2 minutes talking about that. I'll get to it later, trust me. So there are dozens of schools that offer scholarships to transfer students, which is pretty much why it's called a transfer scholarship, because it's like scholarships given to transfer students. Scholarships given to transfer students. But there are scholarships that are specifically for transfer students. Like, transfer students can get any type of scholarship. They can get like scholarships for like just normal ones, and then you can also get your transfer scholarship on top of that. Either way, whichever, like some people just go the way that whichever way gives you more money. Yeah, simply put. Yeah, and then whenever people start thinking about scholarships, they start thinking about the requirements it takes to obtain those scholarships. Now, the requirements can be kind of lengthy, so you want to be able to look at them ahead of time. Note, you want to look at the scholarship requirements ahead of time so you can have time to get those requirements. Because there have been some instances where I like go the last minute. I remember it was like just this semester alone, I spent a week trying to get stuff for a grant that I was applying for, and the grant was due in a week. So I had literally a week to get everything, but I'm glad everything worked out, and I was able to apply for that the day it was due. Yes, and thank you for everybody that helped me with that. Yes. So the requirements for scholarships varies upon which school you attend. Like, some scholarships require just a GPA, just a shot record, test record, or official transcript. On the transcript, I would look and see if it's unofficial or official they want. It's typically 99% of the time they want an official transcript. 99% of the time they want an official transcript, but sometimes they need an unofficial transcript, or you can give them an unofficial transcript in the place of an official transcript if you don't have one yet. That's what I had to do for my transfer scholarship. And then once you have your official transcript, you send that in immediately, and then they can start processing it. And then other ones is like recommendation letters. Recommendation letters is a big thing about scholarships, but like in my transfer scholarship I had, I didn't have to do a recommendation letter, and I wasn't really required to do it. So on a recommendation letter, I recommend that you get it from a professional source, like your academic advisor or an instructor that you trust, an instructor that you know and that they know you back. Yeah, which is why you want to have that relationship with your advisors and your instructors. You want to have that relationship to where if you ask them to write a recommendation letter for you, they're like, yeah, sure, I can do it. It's like, yeah, sure, I can do it, no problem. You just gotta let them know what you want to have, what needs to be in there, because some scholarships have specifics on what they need to be in there, on what needs to be in the recommendation letter. They have specifics, and you gotta make sure you're mindful of those, and you gotta let them know. Whoever's writing your recommendation letter, you gotta let them know like what to put in there and when it's due. You gotta let them know when it's due, so they know when to have it done by, or when they need to get it done. And you also need to be in great academic standing with the college, which is like, keep your grades up, go to class. Go to class and get your grades up, because just because you're in college, it's like, yes, a college student has free reign. I know that, and like, some of the instructors just don't care. But I mean, like, they care. They just don't show it on the outside. They care on the inside, and it just go to class. Just go to class. Get your grades up. You don't want to be put on academic probation. I know I don't. It's like, because I go to class, I get my damn grades up. And some transfer scholarships do offer free tuition. They do offer free tuition, or, that's a big or a majority of your tuition paid by colleges, paid by the four-year universities. So this is like a rare thing. It's a rare thing. I say it's a rare thing because, like, not all transfer scholarships do this. Like, my transfer scholarship does not, but a couple that do. Is like, this is where some schools do. This is for in-state transfers only, depending on where the college is. It's like Salem State University, University of Alabama, University of Maryland. They typically do free tuition in their transfer scholarships, or a majority of their tuition is paid by their college. So if you're gonna go to any of those three, and those are for in-state transfers only, if you're gonna go to any of those three, then I would suggest taking advantage of that. Because the less money you spend, the more money you get. Pretty much. It's like in the financial refund checks, yeah. And there are scholarships for out-of-state people that do allow in-state tuition. Because I know a couple people that are out-of-state, but they do pay in-state tuition because of their scholarships. And there are some transfer scholarships that do offer in-state tuition. If you qualify. You have to qualify first. I forgot that. That's like a major point. If you qualify for in-state tuition by transferring out of state, then you will get in-state tuition. It's like, I know, like, out-of-state tuition is like a few thousand more, but, it always helps to pay in-state tuition. So I would go the longer mile to qualify for it if you transfer from out of state. And one university that does this is Texas State University. Texas State University, if you qualify, then they will give you in-state tuition, and then you don't have to worry about paying out-of-state tuition. But you got to get on that. You got to get on it. So you got to get the FAFSA on your financial aid and whatnot, so they can see all your financial aid stuff if you need a FAFSA. Not everybody needs a FAFSA, but no, everybody needs a FAFSA. And then there's also credit requirements. Some transfer scholarships are based on credits, because I know that whenever I got my transfer scholarship, I had to have at least 30 credit hours. I had 60 credit hours whenever I transferred. I did not need 60 credit hours to get this transfer scholarship. I needed 24 to be transferable. 24 to be transferable. So this is where you want to look ahead. This is where, whenever you start the two-year institution, you want to look ahead at your degree plan and see which classes you need, because you can get, like, I could get like maybe 90 credit hours before I transferred, and they wouldn't even take me. They wouldn't even take me because I don't have the amount of transferable credit hours. But I was lucky enough because I got 60 credit hours, and they only looked at the 24 transferable ones. They want to make sure that that specific amount will transfer over. It has to transfer over, or else you won't be able to get it. Or else you won't be able to get the scholarship unless you have that amount of hours transferable. If you need more explanation, I will gladly explain it, which there is an explanation for this, and my mind's just kind of in a weird place right now. But whenever you have a huge amount of credit hours, you want to make sure that some of it's transferable. So you want to look ahead on your degree plan and take the classes that you know will transfer over. Usually you can see it. Usually you can see that on the look at your degree plan on the two-year institution, look at the future degree plan on the four-year university, and see which classes match up. Now, other that's credit requirements. Yeah, it typically requires the students to complete a minimum of 30 credit hours per year, 15 each semester. This is more to keep your transfer scholarship, which is where my story comes in, which I had a transfer scholarship, but I lost it because I did not fulfill the requirements, that one requirement of having 30 credit hours at the end of the school year. The school year, not the semester. The semester, you need at least 15 credit hours. You need to be at least signed up in 15 credit hours, which 15 plus 15 equals 30. So I didn't have 30 credit hours at the end of the school year. I had 27 because I had to drop a class. Now, in that instance, you can appeal for it, and I tried appealing for it, but they didn't take my appeal. And, I'm not going to complain about it because there's no reason for me to complain about it right now. There's no reason for me to complain about it right now. Like, whenever I lost it, it hit me pretty hard. Like, it hit me pretty hard whenever I lost my transfer scholarship. But, you just have to keep applying for more. Because you can't have a transfer scholarship and also have an institutional scholarship. Institutional scholarships are scholarships given by the institution. Given by the institution that you go to for a 4-year. And you can't have that at the same time you're having a transfer scholarship. So, if you have a transfer scholarship, that'll help you for 4 years. But if you get an institutional scholarship during those 4 years, then you will lose that transfer scholarship because it shows that you don't need it anymore. That'll show that you don't need it anymore. Simply put. You want to make sure you get on those credit hours. You want to make sure you have your credit hours solid, locked down. And the amounts of scholarships. Now we get to the money talk here. Everybody likes to talk about money. It's mostly based on your GPA or test scores, like ACT and whatnot. It's like, I know people that have made like a 24 on the ACT and they've gotten a full ride on colleges. Yeah, good for them. Good for you guys. Yay. Pretty much just based on your GPA, which I finished high school with a 3.8 and I've kept my GPA above a 3.5 ever since, and I graduated in 2014 and it's 2017. So, and typically the amount of money that transfer scholarships offer range between $500 to $6,000. I know that is a huge margin, but I mean, like, the transfer scholarship that I had was $4,000. It was $4,000, so it was kind of on the higher end. But some colleges, they only give $500, which is like, that's not split. That's not like 500 and they give you $250 each semester. No. That's 500 for 4 semesters. That's like 500, 500, 500, 500. So that's literally like a $2,000 transfer scholarship that they're just splitting up into $500 increments among your first 2 years. And, some bigger colleges give up to like $16,000 in one reward. There is one scholarship in particular at this particular university. It's a University of Miami. For those that go to University of Miami or look to transfer to University of Miami, this scholarship is for transfer students only. It's called the President's Scholarship. I don't have the specifics for it, but look online. University of Miami, the President's Scholarship, it is worth up to $16,000, like $5,000 to $16,000. If you are a transfer student and you're going to University of Miami, I would take advantage of that, because if I had that here in Arkansas, I would be able to just pay for everything with just that. I wouldn't just throw my Pell Grant away, just like throw everything else away, just get this. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure they don't just give this out. You have to have a liable resource. You have to have liable recommendations. Yes, they look at everything. A award this big, it has to be specifically to a single person or a little bit of individuals, not like to a whole major group. And as I said before, other requirements, essays, transcripts, shot records, recommendation letters. On the essays, it's good to look ahead just to see how much you have to write or like what specifically you have to do, because I do have a friend that's like, he went for a scholarship and he thought it said he had to do a writing in 100 words, but it said 100 characters. That includes spaces, people. It's like 100 words is different from 100 characters, because 100 words doesn't count the space. It just counts each and every single individual word. But 100 characters, that counts spaces also. So you have to be mindful about what you do. You have to be mindful about that. Now, other people go straight to the question, when can I apply? Or when do I apply? When should I apply? And my answer to that is ASAP. You need to apply ASAP. I know it's like some people wait to a specific month to apply for it. It's like maybe I think November is a good month to apply for scholarships because, you know, it's like almost the end of the semester. It's almost the end of the semester and you want that extra money going into the spring semester. I know, but I know sometimes I procrastinate. Sometimes, like, I'll admit to procrastinating. I am not afraid to procrastinate, but I'm trying to get out of the habit. And I've procrastinated on scholarships before. I wish I don't, but I did. You don't want to wait till like the last minute to apply for a scholarship. Like, I know some people actually do and they find that better, but if they find it better, then they find it better. But I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. If you find a scholarship that you know that you could most likely get, go and apply for it and get what you need and get that sent in, because it'll be an early entry, but I mean, like, I guarantee you they will look at the early entry. They will look at that early entry and say, wow, this guy or this girl is really, really on top of things. Yeah, you want to give yourself enough time to get the required documentation, like recommendation letter and all that other stuff that takes time. Like, you can probably apply for one in a week, depending on who you go to, or depending on when everything needs to be done, or whatever. A little bit helpful tips to get you through the transfer scholarship process is to keep up to date with your due dates. Due dates are a major thing in college because you need to be up to date with everything. You need to be up to date with everything. You need to have, like, I would recommend having like a little planner. I have a little planner. I have it open to the month that it is right now. I have it up to the month of November, and every single day I have what I need to do every single day. It's like, because I'm a band student, and so we have a lot of basketball games now. So I have literally all my basketball games written down in that calendar, have just everything, like what I'm going to do for TBS, like just everything written down in that calendar, so I know what is happening every single day. And I just mark the days off as they go by, just to make sure it's like I'm done with everything. I would recommend keeping a calendar or keeping a checklist, and have a scholarship checklist too. And I want to be thorough. Be very thorough in what you do. Like in the essay, just don't half-ass the essay. Do not half-ass the essay. Just, on the essay, it has to be very thorough. It has to be thorough. It has to be complete. They don't want to read an essay that just says one idea and then goes immediately and talks about the other. No, it has to be full. You have to have a full idea. And one last helpful tip that I'll leave you with now is check with financial aid constantly, because, you know, sometimes financial aid can mess up a couple times. They've been known to mess up a couple times, but, you know, they don't do that just to do it on purpose. They don't do it on purpose anyway. But I would check with financial aid constantly, like maybe every day, or maybe every other day, or every other week. Or I would not do every other week. I would do at least once a week, at least 3 times a week. You would check with financial aid, make sure everything's all right. You can typically just check it online with the FAFSA, but sometimes the scholarships aren't shown on the FAFSA, or just on the financial aid website that you go, whichever school you go to. Alright, with that being said, that comes to the end of the scholarships and scholarships for transfer students. I hope this information was good to everybody. I hope you got something out of it. And again, if you need any more explanation about transfer scholarships or scholarships in general, just give me a comment down here, or just shoot me an email. My email is on my channel page. Yeah, if you need any other explanation on anything, or something just doesn't sound right to you, or you need to correct me about something, if you want to correct me, then you can go ahead and correct me. I won't hate you for correcting me. Trust me, I'm looking for things to make me in the right. Alright, so that brings me to my next video, which brings us to my next vlog. It will be about whether or not you should live on or off campus as a transfer student. Typically, some people go to off campus, but I was one of the transfer students that chose to do on campus. So, I will be explaining all that in the next video. So I'll see you guys later. See ya.